is brought to you by a CBC Sports presentation. CFL 83. The very best in professional football entertainment. Along with the game, we'll bring you complete news, highlights, and features from the Canadian Football League. And now, for all the action, we go to the stadium and our CBC Sports crew.
Today, first place is on the line as the Eskimos meet the BC Lions. For the Eskimos, the first chance to play football indoors. We're live from the stadium at BC Place. And we take you back to Edmonton, Commonwealth Stadium, August 12th. The first meeting of these two teams that day belonged to the BC Lions. Warren Moon threw 4 interceptions. Roy DeWalt had a terrific day in leading the BC Lions to a 43-13 victory. That was August, and we're almost to October. The Eskimos look very different when the playoffs draw near. Today, two teams share top spot in the Western Division following that Winnipeg win over Saskatchewan. An Eskimo win, and it's a 3-way tie for the top. A Lion victory, and the Eskimos are scrambling for third following Calgary's upset victory over Toronto. And today in Vancouver, two outstanding quarterbacks. Roy DeWalt of the BC Lions, Warren Moon of the Edmonton Eskimos. Leo Cahill is with me and has both quarterbacks standing by.
Well, thank you, John. Warren Moon, 2 questions, my friend. First, are the Eskies really back to Grey Cup form? And secondly, how much does playing against your old coach, Donnie Matthews, affect a game like this? Things a lot tougher for you.
Well, I think we're certainly playing a lot better right now than we did the first half of the season. I think part of that is because of the coaching change that we just made, and the other part is I think our team just knows deep down inside we can't afford to lose any more ball games, and we're better than we were playing in the first half of the season, and I think we're just starting to show those things right now. Playing against Coach Matthews is tough because he was with us for 6 or 7 years, and he knows, the things I like to do offensively because we talked a lot, during his years there, and I'm sure he's going to try and put the heat on me because I'm sure he feels that any quarterback, if you put heat under him and make him throw the ball before he wants to, he's not going to be as successful. So my job today is going to have to be alert to the things that they're giving us as far as blitzes and different coverages. And if I'm alert to picking up those things and our linemen and backs are alert to picking up the blitzes, then I should have pretty good time to complete passes.
Roy DeWalt is getting back on the winning track last week against the Concord, got the team over that BC midseason slump people talk about, or is that just all talk?
Well, I would like to think that we are over the slump and is ready to play real good football. The loss to Toronto really set us back a little bit, and everyone's saying, okay, here we go. They're going into that mid-season slump. Well, I hope that's not the case, and with the win over Montreal last week, hopefully that would get us where we need to be and win some ball games. We're in the West ball game, as a matter of fact, and keep us in first place, and that's what we're hoping to do this evening.
Okay, thanks an awful lot.
Good job, Leo. The Eskimos and the Lions, first place on the line. The kickoff from BC Place follows right after this. I don't think there's any doubt about it. For both of these teams, this is the game of the season. Don Matthews, BC Lions at 7-3. The Eskimos under Jackie Parker now standing at 6-4 after 10 games. I'm John Wells with Leo Cahill, and it's easy to get excited about this football afternoon from the stadium at BC Place. And Johnny Pasaglia will kick it off, Leo.
John, both of those coaches look like they're tighter than Ned's hat man. They're getting ready for this game in fine fashion.
We're underway. Joe Holliman. Holliman, good return for the Eskimos, almost to the 35, but they lose the ball. The Lions say they have recovered.
Well, it must have been a question where he let the ball go and they just touched it just before it went out of bounds, but it was a great job of recovering. And now they've got the field position and the all-important first turnover of this ball game. You see Joe taking the ball up here, and he veers to the outside and picks up some blockers, makes a nice return out of it, and runs right over. There's Hayes making a block, and he runs right over Bird and goes to the sidelines, loses the ball, and you see the ball bounce, and he just touches it before it goes out.
That was rookie Ryan Potter, number 33. And this is Roy DeWalt. In some trouble on the BC Lions' first offensive sequence. Eskimos all around. Dale Potter and David Fennell were there.
Well, there was a big play there by the BC Lions, recovering the play, or recovering that ball on the sidelines. But now you see DeWalt rolling out to his right here, and here comes the pressure. They've got the whole defensive line on top of them right here. Get the ball back, and there's a turnabout there now in terms of breaks and in terms of emotion. They've both made two big plays there.
A 9-yard loss for Roy DeWalt and the BC Lions. This is 2nd and 19. Lions at the Eskimo 47. DeWalt looking long for Green. Flags are down.
The way the referee is indicating, it looks like it's against the defense, but it looked at the time like it could have been against either one.
Double coverage on Green that time.
They've got the formation to the left there, all the strength to the left, and Roy just gets back and throws that ball down the field, tries to get it to Green. And they say Hayes has interfered with him, number 28.
First down, Lions inside the Edmonton 6.
So look where the BC Lions are now.
As we talked about, John, this first important score means an awful lot, especially with this hometown crowd.
First down, Lions. The Eskimo 15. Time for Roy DeWalt. It closes up quickly. DeWalt slides into about the 8-yard line.
I don't know that we could get another picture of that, but Green broke open, wide open in the end zone, and DeWalt had time when he got to that line of scrimmage. You see, he comes back here, he looks, and then he makes up his mind, I think, that he's going to run. And in the meantime, Green comes wide open in the end zone, nobody near him, and he just takes a short gain instead of a touchdown. He's got to be, he's a veteran quarterback now, he's got to be able to look downfield before he crosses that line of scrimmage, John, and throw that ball for that big score.
For Roy DeWalt, a pickup of 7 yards. Don Matthews anxious on the sidelines here for a 2nd down and 3 situation for his BC Lions.
That's where that Edmonton Eskimo defense gets real tough down in here.
DeWalt to the end zone. Man wide open. Touchdown. John Pankratz.
Pankratz came from the right again and ran that crossing pattern that they've had so much success with, and he got so wide open that I've got to believe that somebody blew their coverage on this. You see number 18, Mike McLeod, throw his hands up in the air as much as to say, hey, you're supposed to have that guy.
For John Pankratz, his 7th touchdown catch this season. And Lou Pasaglia.
And that's not a boo, that's a Lou.
Pasaglia puts it through. So just 2 minutes and 29 seconds into this football afternoon in British Columbia, the Lions take advantage of a big Eskimo turnover and score first. Lots more ahead. Keith Parker unbeaten in his return to Canadian football, but he's down 7-0 to the BC Lions early in the opening quarter at BC Place. Parker won his first 2 outings, defeating the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Saskatchewan Roughriders after taking over from the first coach of the Eskimos this season, Pete Catella.
We'll get another look at this here as DeWalt just rolls to his left, and as I said before, Pankratz came across and someone blew the coverage. McLeod had both hands up in the air in disgust, as much as to say either I blew the coverage or somebody over on that other side blew it, but Pankratz got it wide open for the touchdown.
There are changes in that Eskimo secondary with Ed Jones on the sidelines. Emilio Frietta and Jerry Phillip are sharing the duties back there in relief of Jones. This is Gary Hayes. First kickoff hurt the Eskimos. Hayes hangs on at the 35. Konar 31, Glenn Jackson 37 led the BC tacklers that time.
Well, both of these teams are very exciting teams, and they're both in this ball game, and they're not going to give any quarter. I think it's interesting to point out at this point right here, John, before they start their offense, that Kelly is just going into that ball game last night with the Argos, was just 223 yards behind Greer over there in Toronto.
First down Eskimos, their own 35. Warren moves. Unloads, it's picked out. This is Kerry Parker.
maybe the key to this whole thing was Warren being a little bit concerned that they were going to go after him before the game there, but he drills the ball in there, and it's intended in there for Waddell Smith, but it was tipped. Parker picks it up, and they've got the ball again in fine field position.
2 turnovers by the Eskimos in the opening 3 minutes of this football game. Look where the Lions are now with a first down just across the 50-yard line in Eskimo territory. This is Sammy Green. He'll score.
Just a handoff back to Green, and he just uses that exceptional speed to the outside. You'll see Fernandez come down here, scream someone, stay on his feet. All Green does is just use his blocking, go against the flow, and go in for the touchdown. And here, you know, just in the early part of this ball game, the score is going to be 14-0 if they can just make this extra point.
A 48-yard touchdown play by Sammy Green. 2 turnovers by the Eskimos. 2 touchdowns by the BC Lions. It's 14-0, folks.
Well, they've said all along that this guy can run a hole in the wind, and you saw him on that play. He took that ball, came back, and he just outran most of the interior defense that were in pursuit. Just a great job by Sammy Green.
Interception problems against the BC Lions 5 weeks ago at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. His first pass this afternoon picked off by Kerry Parker. And a fumble on the opening kickoff by Joe Holloman. Also a turnover to the BC Lions. And that's what we have right now. 11 minutes, 32 seconds to play in the opening quarter. And the Lions are out in front by 2 touchdowns.
And what a shocker. You might say that this was an upset in the making right here, because I think most people expected Edmonton to win this football game. But there's been a lot of upsets on this weekend.
Well, we've seen a lot of upsets this weekend in Canadian football, Leo.
Well, nobody could have ever told me that Calgary could have gone in there and did what they did last night. Jack Goode and his staff deserve an awful lot of credit.
Stampeders 49-20 over the Toronto Argonauts, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 50-19 over the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And earlier today, the Ottawa Roughriders 29-25 over the Hamilton Tiger Cats, led by Dieter Brock. Eskimos' second offensive sequence begins from their 22. And Moon floated that one. Nobody was near.
Well, Moon is too good a quarterback to just go in the tank and just get too nervous, so he'll settle down here. But the important thing as far as the BC Lions are concerned is that they've got that 14 points on the board before he's really adjusted and settled down. And as I pointed out before, the tip-off, I think, was that in counter to my question where I asked him about playing against Donnie Smith, he was very concerned about Smith sending a lot of people at him. And that concern has manifested itself a little bit in the early part of this ball game.
2nd and 10 Eskimos from their own 23. Going to the far side with Brian Fryer. Nelson Martin was covering, and Fryer was close to the first down. An important spot for the Eskimos here. Find out where the referee, John Ireland, actually puts the football back into play.
Well, it looks like it's almost a yard away as we see Moon come back and hit Fryer on just that simple bend-out pattern right there. And a good job there by Martin, keeping him from getting that first down yardage.
They give Brian Fryer a 9-yard gain. And this will be 3rd down and 1.
Well, a lot could be established on this one play right here because they've got almost a full yard to go. If they get stopped right here, they could be in a lot of trouble.
The Eskimos go gambling. Early in the opening quarter, it would appear they have the first down.
That's the advantage of having that Moon in there at quarterback. I stood alongside him yesterday in practice, and he had cowboy boots on, John, but boy, he looked to me like he was about 6'5".
You know, Warren Moon may just have the perfect build to be a quarterback. He has got size, stature, speed,
intelligence. He's got the whole thing. He's got the whole package, and I'm not too sure, in spite of what's happened out here already this afternoon, I'm not too sure he's not the best quarterback in North America.
No question he's the best pure passing quarterback in Canadian football at this time, but he's having problems today. Picked off again. JoJo Heath gets the second interception of the afternoon from Warren Moon.
Well, JoJo Heath said a week ago that if they want to win the ball game, they better not throw in my direction. Right there, he come up with a big interception. It was intended for the favorite target of Warren Moon, Brian Kelly. But he's got... We'll have to listen to the referee right here. It looked like a clip.
Clip. BC number 64. First down.
That's newcomer Jonathan Craver, 64 for the BC Lions. You might see it here.
Kelly just made a little bend-out pattern right there, and Heath, playing his inside to keep him from getting to the inside, saw the flight of the ball in the air and just went right to it and took it away from Kelly.
Still, the Lions will take the field position in spite of the penalty with another first down for BC. This is John Henry White. Dale Potter saved the touchdown.
Tripped up on the 7 by Dale Potter.
Just a little dump-off pass right there in the middle to John Henry White. He picks up his blockers, and I thought he had it made right here. There's a good block there by Sammy Green, but an exceptional play in there by Potter, coming in behind the blockers, making the tackle from the blind side. And it looks like John Henry White may be hurt. That would be a real blow for the BC Lions.
John Henry White missed the last two Lion football games. He was injured in Ottawa 3 weeks ago and didn't play much against the Rough Riders. If you look at the BC Lions' success in the last 3 weeks, that's been one of the problems they've had, is moving the football, and John Henry White was sorely missed. 3 games from CBC Television Sports in Week 13 of Canadian football next Saturday. Viewers in Manitoba and Northern Ontario will see the first meeting between Dieter Brock and Tom Clements in their new uniforms, Winnipeg and Hamilton. Manitoba viewers then join the national network for Ottawa at Saskatchewan. Then on Sunday, Toronto at Montreal from Olympic Stadium, and great CFL action next weekend, Week 13 in Canadian football. Brian Potter, number 33, replacing John Henry White as he heads to the sideline. He looks like he'll be back, however. First down, goal to go, BC Lions at the Eskimos 7. Pressure from the Eskimos and fired for Fernandez. He was well off the mark. Frietta, number 37 for the Eskimos, applying some pressure on Roy DeWalt that time. Flags were down.
Well, the important thing on that play was that Roy DeWalt got the ball off and didn't. There you see Hayes with Green all the way down the field, and there's a little bit of jostling going around there. I think both of them had hands on each other. It was just about a saw-off as to who was interfering with who.
Second and goal from the 7. Larry Jones stops short of the touchdown. He's inside the 5. Frietta was there, and so was 64, David Boone. Will they go for it?
Well, you know, I can't understand why fans would boo right here. They've got 2.5 full yards, maybe 3 yards to go for a touchdown. They've got a chance to get 3 sure points with Lou Pasaglia kicking the football. Take those 3 points and don't take a chance on not getting them. Points are very important at this stage, especially when they got 14 to the good right now.
8 minutes, 17 seconds to play in quarter 1. The BC Lions leading the Eskimos 14-0. Louis Pasaglia will try a field goal from the 10. Through there. So look at the Lion total now. Still lots of time to play in the opening quarter. The BC Lions out in front of the Eskimos, 17-0. We move to the final week of Major League Baseball with 2 games from CBC Television Sports. Wednesday, the Expos and the Cardinals from St. Louis. Then Saturday, the Expos and the Mets. Expos needed a miracle this year, and it didn't quite come through. But Expo Baseball continues on CBC next week. First down for the Eskimos. Warren Moon has been intercepted twice this afternoon. He's only completed 1 pass. Scott Stout Jonathan Craver. For Scott Stauch, a gain of 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6 for the Eskimos.
I think something significant to point out is that Moon, with 51 carries and 343 yards, is the leading ground gainer. Lumsden's behind at 211 yards. And as the weather gets a little bit colder, they're going to need that running attack. Maybe this is going to hold back that Edmonton team just a trifle.
Second down, Eskimos. Moon has to get out of there. He has the first down. Moon across the 45. And in the grasp of Glenn Jackson, 37, an outstanding Canadian linebacker with the BC Lions for several seasons.
I think Warren Moon does this, along with Conridge Holloway, about as well as anybody does in the league, and that is stepping up to the inside. A lot of people can roll out and get to the outside when they're in trouble and outrun the pursuit, but these people have the amazing capacity to look up to the inside and see those seams open up and get a first down that way.
From their 46 now, first down Edmonton. That's Neil Lumsden, and Lumsden, a good gain almost to midfield, tripped up by Jonathan Craver. Lions are high on this young man, Craver, 6'4", 240 pounds, from James Madison University. His second game as a BC Lion. For Lumsden, a gain of 7. This is 2nd and 3. Once more, the first down into the 45-yard line. Glenn Jackson with Lumsden that time.
And you know what Warren Moon has done here, John? He's done what only a seasoned quarterback can do, and that's be very, very patient. Run the ball a couple times, throw the short pass like he does here to Lumsden, and keep the ball moving until he gets his team settled down after the initial shock of that 17 points. But he's doing just exactly what he should do. He's got plenty of time to get him back in this ball game. He knows it.
First down, Eskimos. They trail by 17. Moon, time to throw once more. Kelly is the target. He makes the catch, but he's out of bounds. Good coverage on Kelly by Martin and Heath.
I'll tell you, Bird wasn't far away either. They had 3 people in the vicinity of that ball as soon as it got in the air. They know where Kelly is.
Yesterday, Don Matthews indicated Kelly would get special attention.
He goes down the field there, and he just hasn't got enough room to the sidelines there to catch the ball and keep 1 foot in. But he does catch it.
So it's 2nd and 10 Eskimos from the BC 46. Lots of room for Moon to run, and he has the first down single-handedly. Kerry Parker led the BC tacklers that time. The one thing the Eskimos were not saying too much about was an injury that Warren Moon suffered last week. Apparently it's somewhat similar to tennis elbow, and he had his right arm, his throwing arm, in ice much of the week.
He may have a tennis elbow, but Warren Moon is a great component of give the ball to the best halfback, let him run with it. If that doesn't work, go to your best receiver. If that doesn't work, I'll get it myself. You got another first down.
Give it to your best back and run it yourself.
Yes.
First down. This is Neil Lumsden. Lumsden getting a lot of work today. Rick Clausen, number 60 for the Lions, led the tacklers that time. On the sidelines, CFL Hall of Famer Jackie Parker, coaching his 3rd game for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Big number 66 that you saw standing on the sidelines there is another defensive tackle. He was the outstanding performer in that first game that he played. His name is Hunter. That's a great name for a defensive player, Hunter.
He had an outstanding debut last week.
His first name ought to be Head.
Tommy Scott has the catch. Scott out at the 8-yard line. So the Eskimos are on their way back. Melvin Bird beaten by Scott that time.
See Moon going back, and Scott, old reliable, goes down and just bends to the sidelines right there, beats the competition, and turns for the field to try to get it in the end zone there, and gets it down to about the 8-yard line. And Moon is doing just exactly what he has to do now.
If there's one change the Eskimos have made offensively, it's going to the inside receivers like Scott and Pryor since Parker took over. looks for the touchdown. Slightly off target, JoJo Heath almost had his second of the day.
I think JoJo Heath didn't see the ball coming, and if he had seen the ball, we'll see it once more right here. And Moon throws it, and he throws it in harm's way. Look at JoJo Heath right there. By golly, he did see the ball. He just missed it. But he had an open sideline to go all the way down that sideline so he would have gotten that one.
So it's second down and goal to go Eskimos at the BC 8. Nowhere to go for Warren Moon. Finally, he looks to the end zone, throws it deep. Nelson Martin tipped that football and almost came free for 77 Brian Pryor.
Well, you see Donnie Matthews, the BC coach, breathe a sigh of relief. Moon goes back. He gets plenty of time here to throw the football, rolls out to his right. Everybody's covered, looks back to his left, looks back to his right again, and then instead of taking the beating, throws the ball deep into the end zone, hoping that if he can't get a catch out of it, he'll at least save taking the loss.
Not a great start for Warren Moon. 3 completions and 9 attempts for 40 yards. 2 have been intercepted. And the 2 interceptions have led to scoring plays for the BC Lions. Here now on third down, Dave Cutler from the 20. Or from the 15-yard line, I should say. No problem there. The Eskimos still trailing by a couple of touchdowns. They have to get back in a hurry. Quarter score as we have it right now, and still 2 minutes and 32 seconds to play in the opening quarter. On the Eskimo bench, Scott Stout in some difficulty. Apparently he collapsed as he headed for the sidelines. Now Jackie Parker was telling us yesterday Stout had contacted some mysterious virus and hasn't been feeling well all week. He had some problems against the Rough Riders in Saskatchewan last week. He's out of this game at least for a few moments. First down for the BC Lions now. They begin from their 35. That's Larry Jones, 23. James Parker led the Eskimo tacklers. Not much running space for Mr. Jones that time. Reminder tonight, right after our telecast from BC Place, CBC Television presents the 35th Annual Emmy Awards. Joan Rivers and Eddie Murphy co-host the Television Awards of Excellence live from Pasadena. All your favorite TV stars in the Emmy Awards right after our telecast in Vancouver this afternoon. This is 2nd and 9 facing the Lions. Pressure for DeWalt. He got it away. John Henry White short of the first down. James Parker, number 40. And White all wrapped up.
And as we see the BC Lions coming in here to punt, one thing that stands out in my mind, and I think that you're going to see a transition in defense. We're going to take a look at this last play here where DeWalt just goes back and had some success with this earlier in the ball game, took it down to the 6-yard line, but they had it pretty well covered that time. But what I was going to say is I think we're going to see a transition in defense. There's been so much coverage by linebackers on good pass receivers that I think sooner or later we're going to see 4 defensive linemen, a big tough middle linebacker, and 7 defensive backs in the ball game. I really believe that.
The Lions have used 7 defensive backs many times this season. This is Gary Hayes. Hayes to the 30.